God brought the Israelites back to Meribah, which is where God had tested whether they would trust him to provide them with water. Nearly 40 years ago, God had made water come from the stone, but now they were back there, they found the water had stopped. God stopped the water to test them again. The Israelites were angry with Moses for bringing them somewhere without water, saying that if there is no water, then they might as well have died with Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Moses and Aaron prayed, and God told Moses to tell the rock to give water. Moses and Aaron gathered everyone to the rock, and told them that he would make water come from the rock. He then hit it twice with the rod. Moses was wrong, because he didn't say that it was God that would bring the water, and he hit the rock twice. He wasn't supposed to hit the rock at all this time, because he had already hit the rock nearly 40 years ago. The rock represents Jesus, and hitting it represents his sacrifice on the cross. In total, Moses hit the rock 3 times, but Jesus died only once for our sins, not 3 times. Moses had told the Israelites that it was by his own power that he did the miracle, and there was a risk that they thought that this was true. To stop the Israelites thinking this, God punished Moses by having him die before getting to Canaan. God had given Moses a lot. God had spoken to Moses face to face like a friend, and got Moses to do lots of honorable things. Moses was very sorry for his sin, and told the Israelites how much he regretted it. He told them the punishment God had given him for it, to show the Israelites that he was just a man. We are all judged based on how much knowledge and help God has given us. The punishment was strong because Moses had been given so much by God, and had become such a good follower that God was pleased with him. It hurts God a lot more when good followers sin. Satan celebrates and makes fun of the angels when he succeeds at this. Aaron died at Mount Hor because he had sinned with Moses, and God said he couldn't enter Canaan as well. Moses and Aaron's sons buried him in the mountainside, so that the people wouldn't be tempted to make too great a ceremony over his body and be guilty of the sin of idolatry. The fastest route to Canaan was to walk through a country called Edom. The Edomites were descendants of Esau, the older brother of Jacob, who was the ancestor of the Israelites. In later years, this country, Edom, would join with the Babylonians to conquer Israel. Israel today is the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and Edom today, the older brother of the Israelites, are the Protestant churches. They sold their birthright and will unite with the Catholic Church, and just as Edom, Cain, and Abel, the older brothers who follow God in the wrong way, they will try to kill the people who follow God the right way. The Protestant churches will join with the Catholic Church and will one day attack the Adventists. Just as Jacob's night of wrestling saved him from Esau, Adventists will have a time of trouble in wrestling that will protect us from the Catholics and other Protestants. And then Jesus' return will destroy both of these churches. God told the Israelites not to harm the Edomites, because although they didn't follow him, God wanted them time for an opportunity to learn and accept him. Moses asked the king of Edom to let them pass through the country, but the king refused. For this reason, the Israelites went around Edom instead. Had Edom allowed the Israelites through their country, they would have had the opportunity to learn more about God and accept him. So it would have been better for Edom to have allowed them. Edom would have allowed them if they had asked nearly 40 years ago when they first came, but the spies told them not to. It's the same for the Adventist Church. We didn't go through the Protestant churches in 1888. Satan had worked to create such negative thoughts and organizations against us that the Protestant churches now see us as their enemy. The other Protestants are likely to resist us. Protestants are unlikely to want to listen to us, but God has still given them the opportunity to join us, and we should use this. God had protected the Israelites from a lot of things that would have hurt them. They had continually thought they would die because they didn't see all the things God had already protected them from. To increase their trust in God, He allowed them to be bitten by snakes in the desert. Moses then created a brass serpent and put it on a pole. When they got bitten, they were to look at the snake, and then they would be healed. The snake represents Jesus. He is represented as a snake because sin is represented as a snake. And although Jesus never sins, when we ask Him to, He puts our sins onto Himself, thereby removing and healing us of our sins. By looking at the snake, this taught the Israelites to trust that Jesus protects and heals them. It is not done in their own power.